Last year, we saw a different receiving core for the Kansas City Chiefs. They have added Hollywood Brown via free agency. He's still recovering from the injury he suffered in the preseason opener. And Xavier Worthy, or Xavier Worthy. Want to get it right, and I'm not being sarcastic. I think everyone deserves to have their name pronounced the accurate way. We spent an inordinate amount of time yesterday on the bus trying to figure out whether it's Dave Taub or Dave Tobe, the name of the special teams coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs. And ultimately, I was able to inform our colleague Chris Sims that it is indeed Tobe, as I had believed, not Taub, as he had believed. And then he proceeded to call him Taub while we were talking about the game and his name came up again. So maybe it'll eventually take for Chris. But Xavier Worthy with a stellar debut last night. First touch in the NFL, went for a shot out of a cannon touchdown, weaving through traffic, but it's easier to weave when you can just squirt through the way that he did, and then he adds a 35-yard touchdown catch. This is the kind of deep ball that I think we're going to see a lot. Now, it looks like a little busted coverage. Safety wasn't over there to help. He got past the corner, but I think we're going to see a lot of that this year between Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice stretching the field. You get into that 35 to 50-yard line, you better be ready for a long throw from Patrick Mahomes to one of those guys because they can go get it. And it was a great, great debut that angered Bills fans right from the start when he had the long touchdown run. I already saw the chatter on social media because the Bills could have had him, and they traded out, and they drafted a receiver later. So Keon Coleman, no pressure on Sunday or for the rest of the season because the guy your team could have had 2 touchdowns to start his career.
The Chiefs have upgraded this is the best receiving core they've had in 3 years. And it's early. And Xavier Worthy, though, reminds me of Tyreek Hill in this offense with how Andy Reid's going to use him. I was amazed. We put up that graphic last night of last year, the Chiefs had 4 touchdowns of 20 yards or longer. I was amazed by that. Worthy had 2 of them yesterday. So I do think that he changes their offense and makes it better. The 5th receiver to have a 20-yard rushing touchdown and a 30-yard receiving touchdown. And Andy Reid has had 4 of those. He's going to use this guy in unique ways as a runner, as a receiver. And it's going to be exciting to watch. And when we had our draft last week of most exciting rookies in week 1, he was my 2nd pick. And this is the reason we expected to see this from him. We did see this from him, and we're going to see more of this from him all year long, Mike.
You really had to hold your nose, too, for that
one. I did.
Texas.
I did.
Texas. The Aggie. You were the traitor last week. You're always quick to point out the traitors to the Aggies. You were the traitor, but you were right as well. Here is Worthy on his first NFL touchdown and Patrick Mahomes on last night's performance by one of his newest teammates.
Man, it was crazy. We ran that in the preseason. I fumbled, so I mean, sure, it was kind of bad. But just being able for them to have that trust in me, and I told Coach Nagy, I think this player is gonna score, and it happened. So it was just an amazing moment. Just my first touch being a touchdown in the NFL.
He's so cool, calm, and collected, like all the time. Like you would never even see the excitement on him. But I mean, he goes out there and makes plays. Obviously, we want to continue to use him more and more. But I thought he had a great day today, making big plays and big moments. And it was good to get the whole offense going and kind of seeing where everybody's at.
Yeah. It really is amazing to see how quickly they integrate Xavier Worthy into that offense. It took Tyreek Hill a while. Remember, when he was a rookie, he was just return specialist guy for the most part. Didn't have a lot of involvement in the offense. One of the reasons they have been so supportive of Rashee Rice, despite the multiple issues he had this offseason in Dallas. He came in and learned the offense very quickly, had nearly 1,000 receiving yards. And now, boom, here's a guy right out of the gates. He's having a huge impact on the Kansas City offense. And that wrinkle that the Bills could have had him and traded out of that spot and drafted a receiver anyway. That's just one of those bright line comparisons that will never go away for as long as Worthy and Keon Coleman are playing in the NFL. And I kind of like the idea that, hey, Keon, because Keon, if he can play like he can talk, and he's got a great personality, he's a funny guy, this adds a little juice, and this adds a little something to what the Bills do on Sunday. And I guarantee you, at some level, Joe Brady and Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, the offensive coordinator, head coach, and quarterback, respectively, of the Bills, are thinking, we better get this kid involved. We better show that we did the right thing, because GM Brandon Beane is going to want to be proven that he made the right call by not taking Worthy and ultimately selecting Coleman instead.
Yeah, and Worthy's already proved that he was worth that draft pick and worth the trade up, Mike. In one game, he's done it. And you saw Rashee Rice, and we can debate whether he should have been out there or not, or been on the commissioner exempt list. But I think they have their number one receiver, and they haven't really had that the last 2 years when they didn't have a 1,000-yard receiver. He's that guy. He's their number one receiver, over 100 yards last night, and I think he showed that. And then you add Worthy in there with him, and guess what? They didn't even have Hollywood Brown. You know, when he comes back, they've got some really good receivers now that they haven't had over these last 2 years, and Patrick Mahomes is going to have fun with that. He was 20 of 28. I did count 4 drops. I don't know officially what they counted, but there were some drops in there. They had that problem last year, so they are going to still have to work on that a little bit, because he could have been even better. He should have been probably 24 of 28 and over 300 yards, 291 as it was. But this receiving core is going to be really, really good this season.
I don't know whether drops are an official stat. Some places
They're
like
not.
Pro Football Reference will track them. And I say that because you have a very low bar of what counts as a drop. Like if it just glances off of a pinky, it's a drop under the Shireen version of the Elias Sports Bureau.
Right. I have high standards, and no doubt about it. I have high standards on these guys. Got to catch the football if it's there.
Well, and this is the other side of the coin that Devin McCourty and I talked about on Tuesday when there was the great catch in the USC game. And, you know, it's it's the gloves. Well, you better catch it then if it's the gloves. Kadarius Toney had the gloves last year, and that didn't help him an opening night. You still have to. It's still not an easy thing to do, gloves or no gloves, to make those catches consistently. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.